To attach the roller buckle and the keeper to our strap, the first thing we need to do is take a skiving knife and skive down this end of the strap. Now we want to skive it down to about half the thickness, and we want to skive it all the way back so that we get all of the holes. And then we'll dampen it slightly with water on both sides. We'll set it aside for a few minutes so that the water can soak in. Next, we will slide the keeper onto the strap. We'll take the buckle, put the tongue through the slot, stick the end down through, as you can see, and line up all 4 holes. First thing we'll do now is take a medium rivet and line it up in the holes, stick it through, put the cap on, and we'll set it with the rivet setter. And we'll do that to the other one as well. We will then slide the keeper up as far as we can. Fold this back down. Put a rivet post through the hole. Put the cap in place and set it with the rivet setter. We'll do the same thing with the remaining hole. Put the cap in place and set the rivet. We will do all 4 just like this. To reinforce the holes for the security strap, I will use a grommet, set the grommet in the anvil, as you can see. Then I will put it through the leather from front to back, place the washer on top, and with the corresponding size setter, we will set the grommet in place. We will do that as well to the one on the other end of the connector strap. Next, we will attach the snaps to the heat shield. We'll do that with a line 24 snap. For the holes on the end, we'll put the post through from the back, turn it over, set the stud in place, and on a good hard surface like your marble, we'll use the setter and crimp the stud in place. Now we'll do 3 of those on both ends of the heat shield. For this center row of holes, we will use the cap for the finish side, turn it over and put it in the anvil. Now we'll place the receiver over top, and with our setter we will set the receiver in place, and then we'll do that with the other two on this row, and we'll repeat the process on the other side. And this is our heat shield all ready to install. Since the heat shield is made out of fairly heavy leather and it's going to require some bending, it's a good idea to dampen it with water rather thoroughly. You can do it front and back. And then we can fold it over and snap it. And now we can allow our heat shield to dry in this position. Our next step is to begin stitching the gussets to the back and flap portion of the bags. To prepare the leather for stitching, we will dampen the back, as you can see here, and we will do it on the outside and also on the flesh side, especially in the area where the stitch line will be. We will do the same thing to the gusset. We will dampen the entire gusset. And we will dampen the flesh side as well. We will begin stitching the outside of the gusset, overlapping the outside of the back, as you see here, just like this. And we will, with about 5 feet of waxed linen thread, we will begin stitching with the saddle stitching method. And this is how our stitch looks after we have gone part of the way down. Please note now, as you come around these corners, the fact that the holes are perfectly spaced. The gusset will form itself naturally, so it's important to keep it damp. You may have to re-wet it from time to time. The next step will be to stitch the gusset to the front in the same manner as we did the back. So we will start with the double needle stitch right here and go all the way around just like we did with the back and the gusset. Before we start, we will dampen the front part just as we did with the back part. And especially we'll get a good quantity of water around the edge, and we'll do that for the front and the back. Now we will also dampen the gusset. And as we did before, we may need to come back from time to time and add more water to the parts. And this is how our assembly looks after we have started stitching the front to the gusset. Please notice that the gusset comes around and goes on top of the front part. After we have stitched the front and back to the gussets, it's now time to attach the connector strap, and you'll see we have free punched everything. Now in this case we'll need to turn it over and stitch it in this direction, and we'll do it with the standard 2-needle method as we did everything before. After we have stitched the connector strap in place, it's time to start the final assembly. So I'll flip my bag over, and I will start by putting one of the straps that we made down through the loop on the bag, as you can see. Then we will turn this over, bring it up over the bottom of the bag, and go through one of the slots in the connector strap. And we'll pull it up and match it up with the holes that we have in the top and flap, as you can see. We will now lace this in place. I'm going to use some 1/4 inch Latigo lace, about 31 inches long, and I have put a Permalock needle on the end, as you can see. And I'll start by coming in this first hole from the bottom out. There you go. And I will pull this up, leaving about 1 inch on the other side. And then I will go directly across and go down through the belt and the bag, making sure that I have the grain side of the leather up. Now I will cross over underneath and come up through the hole, as you can see, making sure I have the grain side of my leather on top. Next, I will cross over and go down through, as you can see, making sure that my grain side is up. And now I will go down on the other side. I'll skip one hole and come up through, as you can see, making sure that my lace doesn't twist. Now I go down, skip one hole, as you can see, and I'll continue doing this all the way down to the bottom. When you get to the bottom, you'll notice I crossed over, and now I will come back the other direction, making an X. And now on the back side, we will tuck the 2 ends of the lace. After you have laced both of the straps in place, it's just a matter of buckling them, and your bag is ready. Now all we need to do is make the other bag. The final step is to snap the heat shield in place over the straps, as you can see right here.